All right, gender and gender roles. I don't even know where to begin because this is something I feel like I could talk about for hours. And with the way the world is right now, this needs to be talked about. I guess we could start with women. Let's take it all the way back to the beginning with the feminist movement and how they wanted to upend at the time what was the current societal norms and having a father and a wife in the home. The mother was the homemaker and the father was the breadwinner. The father would bring the money in and the wife would manage the budgets, manage the household, manage the children, everything that was under that roof, and even outside of the roof, outside of those doors. That was the mother's role. Children were raised in a stable home. Women wanting to prove that they were equal to men has had devastating effects on society. We are not equal to men. You might not like to hear that. We bring equal value, but we're not equal to men. Men can't do everything that we can do, and we can't do everything men can do. That is okay. And instead of spending most of our time fighting this reality, why don't we embrace this reality and look at the benefits that each side bring and work together in harmony with one another. Now, we're only seeing men as the oppressors, and us women, we are the oppressed. Where are men preventing you from achieving anything that you want to achieve? How, where, when? I don't see any proof of it. And before you go on with the gender pay gap stuff, this is very, very nuanced. And if there are any disparities within the gender pay gap, the reasons for those are reasons that we women choose ourselves. Those reasons aren't things to be ashamed of. We leave the workforce to go raise our children. What do you want to do? Stay working for somebody who can replace you within a week, or labor over loving your children and taking care of your husband, where you are an invaluable asset? So the gender pay gap is nuanced. There are many reasons why women are paid less. They're not paid less for exactly the same work, because if they were, every organization would only employ women, okay? Let's be real. Women are paid less because of the choices that we make. And these choices that we make are not bad choices. Women are naturally more nurturing. Men tend to take on higher risk roles. Men tend to work longer hours. These are things that are okay. Women tend to leave the workforce to raise their children. So men continue going up in the ranks because we only have so many baby making years. It is okay. It is okay to accept that and not fight against this and fight against the patriarchy. It is okay to just be a woman. It's also okay to just be the man that you were born as and take on your manly roles. Right now in society, people don't know what to do. Men are afraid to be gentlemen to women because they'll be considered misogynistic. There's all this toxic masculinity and man hating. So the men are not doing what they have traditionally done out of fear of how women are going to react. And then women now are taking on these more masculine roles. The women that I talk to and they're in these masculine roles, they don't love it. They don't enjoy it. They're doing it out of survival because they haven't been able to find a man who's willing to step up to the plate and be the man that they need. Women are not enjoying being in their masculine energy. Men are enjoying having these feminists and these angry women who are constantly at odds with them and being disagreeable. Men do want submissive women, okay? Whether you want to believe it or not, whether you like that, it's true, it's facts. And when we talk about submission, we're not talking about involuntary slavery. We're talking about submitting to somebody who you trust to be a leader in your home. If you are a smart woman who has some good role models around her, you will choose and decipher who is a great man to lead the home, and you will trust his decisions. You will want to submit to him, and trust me, ladies, it actually feels nice to let a man lead. So be pursued, and you know what? We both win. The man wins because he gets to be the hunter, and the woman wins because she gets to feel pursued. So why do we fight this so much? Because you're told to. When women fought to be out of the home, all that did was disrupt the family unit, the very fabric of our societies. Crime rates have gone up, poverty has gone up. As a result of breaking up the family structure, our society has decayed. I'm not saying that the feminist movement wasn't a good movement to begin with. They had a very noble cause. Equality for everybody, of course. Who wouldn't want that? The ability to vote, the ability to work, being equal under the law. We've achieved that. We're there. I'm talking Western culture. Now this movement has gone way too far. The men are now the ones who are being oppressed and being spoken about as if they are these oppressors that prevent women from achieving anything in life, because heaven forbid that a woman doesn't want to go after a career and wants to stay home and raise her children, as if that's not the most noble job that you could do. I know people like to call it a job. It's natural, it's intrinsic, it's part of who we are, it's our DNA, it's a noble role. You talk to women and you'll say things like, what do you do for work? And their response will be something like, oh, I'm just a mom, just a mom. I wish people would take that phrase and just dispose of it and never use it again. Being a mother, you are raising the next generation of our humans. For women who want to have careers and lives outside of their homes, of course, if you want to pursue something that you're passionate about, no high value man is going to tell you not to do that, but not at the expense of your family. That's wrong. Your children and your husband should be first. As a matter of fact, your husband should be first. If the relationship with your husband isn't solid, well, guess what? It's going to affect the children. And eventually your children are going to move out, and you still need to have a partnership that has been nurtured for the years prior. Okay? Family should always come first, because when you are on your deathbed and looking back at your life, are you going to want to have done one more PowerPoint presentation or played with your 2-year-old? Women who are saying that they don't want to have children and they're trying to push this narrative that they're happier without children. But to me, that sounds like a trauma response. To me, that sounds like someone who is deeply unhappy, who has been hurt many times. And instead of putting themselves out there and continuing to be hurt, they've put up this major wall and they've tried to convince themselves that they're happier. But we are a social society and we need people in order to stay sane. Literally, to stay sane, you need people. I've watched videos of people talking about how they're touch deprived, how they're feeling so lonely, how they're feeling isolated. And if you were to find a great man, I bet you would want to start a family. And for those of you who still want to say you don't want to have children, you are a small fraction of the population. And oftentimes what I hear from these women is that they don't want to have to take care of the child. They don't want to have to give up a certain lifestyle that they're living. Do you know what that sounds like to me? It sounds selfish. There's something that happens when you become a parent. You have a bigger purpose in life. You have a sense of meaning. I used to be in a very masculine state of being, and I would lead with my accomplishments, and I wasn't leading with my nurturing side. But really, ladies, to be in your feminine energies, to be in your body, is to slow down, is to be able to express your emotions. It's to go outside and appreciate the beauty around you. Be proud to be a woman and be proud to lean into your femininity. Just look for opportunities to relax and sink into your womanhood, because it will feel much better. I promise you. If you are feeling like something is off, I bet you are detached from your feminine energy. You're sitting primarily in your masculine, and you need to listen to that feeling. Okay? Allow things to come to you a little bit more. Eat your food slowly. Really enjoy your meal. Listen to music. Love your body. Feel your body. Appreciate your body. Don't feel ashamed for being emotional. Label your emotions and express them to those around you. That's very feminine. There's real power in being a feminine woman. And then it allows the men in our lives to be in their masculine. I don't actually like to give relationship advice. I'm referring to just social dynamics and just good social graces. When you marry the two together, it is the yin to the yang that is required for the society to function effectively. Because right now we have these ineffectual politicians who are telling you to be the opposite, that you are being oppressed by men, that gender is a social construct, and that everything that you want to aspire to is, whatever your objective reality tells you. But this is false. All we had was sex. You were male and female. This right here is the social construct. This is absurd. We've gone from women having roles and stable households and nuclear families, all the way to this extreme. We don't know what a man is anymore. We can't define a woman anymore. And there are no defined roles, and it's upended our society completely. And we've watched families deteriorate. You know it. Take a look around. Is anything working? Are you able to easily find a good partner? Are you able to easily be the feminine woman that you want to be? Men, are you able to easily find a woman of elegance and grace and makes your life easier? No. I think there's a silent majority, but they're afraid to speak up because of the mob. The mob is violent. The mob is mean. The mob is vile and cruel, and they will do whatever it takes to take someone down, including getting physical. There are no repercussions for this. So these people who are craving a way of life, but they just give in because this groupthink mentality. And this is why I encourage people to think for themselves. Why don't they want this information out there? If they think that their information is valid, then leave this information up and let the people, the conservatives, the people who tend to be more right-leaning, the people who tend to have more traditional ideologies, let us make ourselves look dumb, okay? If they think that this is absolutely absurd, then let me make myself look stupid. I'm okay with that. And it's time for people to wake up, look around, and realize that this isn't working. You see, I feel like a lot of the stuff that I say is common sense. I read a ton. I read a lot of books. Can you see my bookshelf back there? It's stacked, 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 stacked. Tons of books. I'm trying to read multiple books a week. I have a book club that you can join. The link to that will be in the description. I encourage people to be self-educated. And a lot of the stuff that I talk about, it's common sense. If you want to join my community where we will talk about these things, the link to that is also in my description. If you want to have some more conversations about the political discourse that's happening and how it's affecting our culture from a perspective that's often being silenced, make sure you hit subscribe. And the link to my Rumble is in the description.